Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Foundry by Forge College. Today, in this explainer, we are putting on our chief engineer hats. We are going to build the precise machinery that takes raw, chaotic user behavior and turns it into highly actionable analytics for your Solana dApps. If you've ever wondered how world-class Web3 teams actually know what their users are doing, instead of just staring at a screen and guessing, well, you are in the right place. We're taking abstract interactions and turning them into real, measurable, mathematical signals. Let's get into it.
So here's the blueprint for today's build. We'll kick things off by going from taxonomy to tracking. Then we'll break down the anatomy of an event, look at the real-world data pipeline, build a testable snippet, and finally, validate our staging data.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, from taxonomy to tracking.
If you caught our last lesson on pattern integration, you probably remember the event taxonomy. That's basically our blueprint, a highly structured list naming every meaningful UI interaction. But here's the catch. A taxonomy without actual instrumentation is just a really nice unbuilt patent sitting in a drawer somewhere. It's just documentation. Instrumentation is the machine itself. By translating that blueprint into client-side code, we guarantee our signals actually land in analysis-ready datasets. You really need both, otherwise your machine is just throwing off random sparks and creating a bunch of noisy data.
Moving on to section 2, anatomy of an event.
To build a reliable machine, we have to understand its absolute smallest atomic unit, and that is the event payload. Every single time a user interacts with your dApp, they generate one of these. Think of it as a tiny, strictly typed dossier that holds exactly 3 things. First, the event name, what actually happened. Second, the properties, what are the specific, juicy contextual details of that action. And third, the identity or context attributes, who exactly is furiously clicking this button and where are they doing it. You have to design this payload with total precision so your analysts can easily pull metrics from it later on.
Notice how specific events map directly to the metrics we need for our A/B tests. Take a CTA click, for example. If you want to measure your click-through rate, you absolutely require the element ID, the location, and the session ID, or say a checkout complete event. You're going to need the order ID, the value, and the user ID to figure out your conversion rate. The metric you want completely dictates the properties you track. You just pack exactly what you need to make the math work, nothing more.
Which brings us to a massive, flashing warning sign. A super common mistake developers make is just sending way too much data. Seriously, do not dump your entire application state into a single event. That is literally like mailing your entire house to the post office just because you wanted to send a letter. Keep these payloads lean, small, and consistent.
Okay, section 3, the real-world data pipeline. Let's zoom out a bit. We've seen the atomic unit, so now let's look at the factory floor and see how that perfectly crafted event actually travels. It's basically an assembly line. Step 1 is your client instrumentation, the UI emitting the event. Once it leaves the UI, it hits Step 2, collectors and buffers that handle basic validation and deduplication. Then, in Step 3, the data gets transformed, normalized, and enriched. Think of this like turning a raw product ID into a proper canonical SKU. Finally, it hits Step 4, metric derivation, where ETL jobs compute your conversion rates. When we look at A/B experiments across our Forge College programs, we're usually staring at the output of Step 4. But if Step 1 isn't absolutely flawless, the whole thing falls apart.
But what happens when things change over time? That's where a schema version comes to the rescue. It's a simple tag attached to your events. Imagine you decide to rename a property right in the middle of a live experiment. Without a version tag, you risk breaking your entire analytics pipeline. Analysts absolutely need this tag to handle backwards compatible migrations so they can join data across different versions without just guessing what went wrong.
So here is your golden rule for today. Always version your schemas. You definitely don't want to be the engineer who wipes out 6 months of historical metrics just because you updated a shiny new button on your dApp. Just tag it with version 1.0, preserve that metric continuity, and you can sleep soundly at night.
All right, section 4, building a testable snippet. Time to look at some actual mechanics. When you write your tracking helper function, whether you're working in TypeScript or React for your Solana frontend, it really only has 3 primary jobs. First, it needs to produce consistently named events based on that taxonomy we talked about. Second, it has to cleanly separate the required properties from the identity attributes. And third, it needs to expose a staging flag. This flag is absolutely vital because it keeps your messy, chaotic test data far away from your pristine production datasets.
In a staging environment, your snippet can just log stuff to the console so your test harness can verify it, rather than blasting your live servers with fake payloads. Let's talk a bit more about that second point, separating identity, like your session ID. We keep identity attributes strictly separated in a context block. Why? Well, if you mix them in with your standard event properties, your downstream joins might completely fail. Worse, an analyst might accidentally treat a static identity trait as if it were a shifting event variable. Keeping them separated guarantees that analysts can easily re-identify sessions without messing up the data.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, validating your staging data. We've got the blueprint, the payload, and the code snippet. But before we deploy this whole operation for real-world A/B testing, we have to ask the ultimate question. How do we actually know this machine works? We can't just deploy it, cross our fingers, and hope the analytics dashboard looks right tomorrow. We have to prove it works today.
To build that confidence, we use a staging validation checklist. Imagine simulating 1,000 sessions in a staging environment and running through these exact points. First, event presence. Did clicking that CTA actually fire an event within 5 seconds? Second, property completeness. Are the session ID and element ID actually in there? Third, order and causality. Did the click event properly register before the checkout event? And finally, no duplication. If there was a network hiccup and a retry, did your idempotency keys stop the system from counting one single click as 3? You've got to check all these boxes.
Once your data passes that rigorous staging validation, those beautiful, clean event payloads can finally be transformed into derived metrics. This is an aggregate measurement, like your click-through rate or conversion rate, computed by an experiment runner. Derived metrics are quite literally the lifeblood of determining treatment effects. It's the only real way we know if a design change actually made the user experience better.
So ultimately, instrumentation isn't just about logging lines of code. It's a schema-driven contract. Your pristine tracking architecture is the literal bridge between your abstract design intent and concrete, measurable outcomes. It's the exact thing that lets us trace our big experiment metrics all the way back to specific, user-driven events on your dApp. And with our machine fully wired up, tested, and validated, you're officially ready for the next phase, which is designing and running A/B tests. But before we wrap up, ask yourself this. If your current dApp were a factory, would your data assembly line actually pass inspection today? Or are you secretly mailing houses to the post office right now? Just something to think about. To fix up your pipeline and explore other awesome Web3 courses, head over to forge.college and keep building. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.